Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to HemingwayLand.com, your source for quality, affordable land in the state of Colorado. We are knocking socks off this weekend, people. We've got another great property out here in Colorado. It's got power. It's got underground utilities. It's really close to Lathrop State Park, which is home to not one but two lakes. It is surrounded by the Sangre De Cristos and the Spanish Peaks. You've got some great mountain views from the property. But most importantly, the thing you see here in the headline, water lines. It's got water lines. This whole subdivision that you see here in this photo and all the various home sites throughout this region are serviced by a local water utility. This means you, amongst other things, will not have to spend $10,000+ to drill a well to get drinking water and bathing water to your property. The region already has these services available. So all of that plus many more things to discuss in today's video. Let's get to it. This is reference number HFCO-2055, located in Huerfano County, Colorado, down in the south central portion of the state. This property is a scooch more than 4 acres, 4.19 to be precise, and it is in the Navajo Ranch Resorts subdivision, specifically filing number 3. And as you saw up top, guys, this roughly 4-acre property is priced at $18,000. So let's pull it up on a map, show you guys exactly where it is. As with all of our listings, GPS coordinates down here. Click any one of them, and up on the map shall appear this square-shaped state of Colorado. So the pin in the map is the subject property located down here, again, in south-central Colorado in Huerfano County. Should be noted, guys, everybody knows where Denver is, so let's show you how far this is from there. If we right-click and measure distance, you will see it is about 2.5-hour drive. From Denver. Denver, of course, sits immediately north of it by about 2.5 hours. Colorado Springs, about 1.5 hours north, and Pueblo, about 1 hour north of it. Of course, all of these can be easily reached because you've got the I-25 running all the way up through these various towns. So, of course, that drive to any one of those places is probably about 75, 80 miles an hour. You're going to be able to accomplish that pretty easily. Whatever the case, the town that is closest to the subject property is the town of Walsenburg, which I believe is roughly about 6,000 or 8,000 people, something like that. We, of course, have photos from the town, guys. As you can see from the photos, this is a quaint, charming, rustic Rocky Mountain town. We've got the photo here of the local lumber company. If, of course, you do end up purchasing this property and building on it, most likely you will be making daily, weekly stops to this place, as well as some other businesses that we have photos of here. Should be noted, guys, the nearest Walmart is about 40 minutes south of here in Trinidad, Colorado, also by Trinidad Lake State Park, etc., etc. Whatever the case, grocery supplies, medical facilities, schools, churches, so on and so forth can be accessed here in nearby Walsenburg, which is roughly about 10 minutes from the subject property. Anyway, back to the map, guys. So it should also be noted that the subject property sits very close to the aforementioned Lathrop State Park. Let's focus on this for a second. So this is Lathrop State Park. As noted, 2 lakes out here, Horseshoe Lake over here, Martin Lake over here. Back to the gallery, guys, you will see that we lifted these handy maps, these very helpful maps of trails and parks and things to do here in Lathrop. Off of their website, we've got this one and we've got this one. This one, of course, gives you a better sense of all the things that you can do out here, specifically if you look at the little grid down here. Picnic areas, tent camping, group camping, fishing areas, showers and laundry, etc. Bird watching areas, hunting areas, boat ramps, so on and so forth. Whatever the case, you got 2 lakes in your backyard there. So if you own a boat, or even if you don't, I'm sure that you can enjoy a lot of things to do out here. Boating, fishing, jet skiing, windsurfing, so on and so forth. It should be noted, guys, the fish that are indigenous to this area. Let me get out my list of fish so I can sound like I know what I'm talking about. Rainbow trout, walleye, catfish, bluegill, tiger muskies, and the joke I make in every video, crappie, the regrettably named crappie fish, are also in this lake. Hey, by the way, we have photos of the lake. Oh my God, look at this. Anyway, so our photographer was out there recently in the month of February when it was cold and nobody was at the lake. But as you can imagine, when it's warm, oh, this place is very busy, I'm sure. Anyway, it's a gorgeous place, a lot to do out there, big, and of course surrounded by the nearby snow-capped Spanish Peak Mountains, etc. You can get a sense of this from the photos. With all that said, guys, back to the map. So the subject property sits just a little bit west here of Lathrop State Park over here in this region. This cutout that you see on the map here is the Navajo Ranch Resorts subdivision. It has, I think, something like 5 filings. The subject property is up here north of the 510 off of a road called Comanche Drive. Comanche actually goes throughout the entirety of the subdivision and circles up and down and back around. So if you do bother to go out there and you want to scout the property, just kind of eyeball where this is on the map, because it feels like every road out here is named Comanche. Here we go. Comanche goes here, it goes here, it goes here, so on and so forth. Anyway, if we zoom in on the property, you will see that we do not have a plat overlay of the region. So again, I will direct your attention back to the photo gallery where, hang on a second, guys, where you will be able to see, first off, the Google Earth overlay of the exact footprint of the property, number 1. Number 2, we also have the handy plat map from the county, which shows you that this specifically is lot 79. This map feels like it is sideways or upside down. I don't know, but this should be north over here. This should be, yeah, actually, there you go. This area is north. So anyway, that's lot 79. That is the general size, shape, location of that. As we go back to the map here, guys, I want to show you some things. Nearby to this property, you have developed home sites right here, right across the street, here, here, and here. In the headline, we say that there is power. I want to be very specific about this. There is power, what I call at the lot line. It's basically right across the street. Here is the utility easement. As you can see, it goes here. It crosses over Comanche Drive. It's over here. This itself is probably just right off the property boundary, so on and so forth. But it goes through this region, servicing all these nearby home sites, ergo, power at the lot line. Now, one of the reasons that I mentioned this, guys, is because if we go back down here to the photo gallery, you will see, so we have the photos from Walsenburg, we have the photos from the lake, and then we have the photos from the property. And if you scroll through these, you're going to see about 7 million photos of shrubbery and no photos of power lines. The only photo that our photographer actually got of the power lines, and I think he was a little rushed that day, I think he was trying to do 10 properties in 2 days or something, is this photo right here with a power line. That being said, I do want to demonstrate on the map. It's right here. It's right across the street. It's running this way along Comanche, so on and so forth. I swear to God, it is out there, even though we have no photographic evidence of it other than this out-of-focus power line in the distance. Anyway, point being, power at the lot line, easily accessible roads. These are actually county-maintained roads. So if you go through the photo gallery here, you're going to see that these are very well taken care of, whatever you want to call these, dirt, gravel, well-maintained dirt, gravel roads, etc. Additionally, it should also be noted that we have underground telephone cables in this area, underground utilities, underground cable here served by US West. So you've also got phone lines out there, you've got internet out there, and yeah. Anyway, as we go through the photos, as noted, a lot of these are a little visually redundant, so I'm not going to review the whole photo gallery as I normally do, but you get a sense of the vegetation that's on the property, etc. I would actually direct your attention more toward the later part of the photo gallery, where we have not only, guys, not only the surrounding mountainsides, the snow-capped mountainsides that you will be able to view from the property every day, but we also have the drone photos, which I think give us a better sense of the exact sort of size, shape, location of the property. We've got the drone photos, and we've got the drone outlines, and here you will also see reiterated the proximity of these power lines, obviously right here along the property boundary, and the underground utilities that are in this region. Anyway, these, of course, will give you an excellent sense of the property, as well as just, you can see exactly how many neighbors that you have out here. You can see this is a pretty well-developed area. There's a lot of homes in this region, and I'll get back to the homes in a bit, but as you can see, a lot of these are kind of just mobile modular homes. There's not a lot of, I don't know, really nice SFRs, 2-story SFR like this one. That's not the common thing. The common thing out here is just a lot of sort of well-maintained mobile homes. That's what you see. Anyway, guys, you can review that on your own time. I'll let you know we're also going to have a drone video down here at the bottom of the page, which will also give you an excellent sense of the property and the region that surrounds it. Now, with all that said, let's talk about the water lines, and I'm going to talk about them by way of zoning. So this is a property that has an HOA. Now, before more than 50% of you turn the video off, let me say, we have bought properties in HOAs in the past. It's usually a mistake. They usually don't sell very well. I am reluctant, very reluctant to purchase properties in an HOA. So if I am purchasing one in an HOA, it's because I genuinely believe that the covenants, the restrictions, the HOA itself is fairly light, fairly agreeable, something all of you are going to be able to get along with and find reasonable, not too onerous, not too strict, etc. This Navajo Ranch Resorts ones is an example of that. And the water lines are a feature of the HOA. So first off, we've got some notes here on our property-specific notes. This is the first one about the HOA, and if you click this link here, and we also have it linked in the table below, it's going to take you to their website. So first off, they have a website. That's always a positive when you find a property with an HOA. A lot of these make it very difficult to find any sort of information on them. This one, however, does not. They have a lot of documentation up here about their subdivision, as well as some of the sort of what we'll call community outreach that they do, just different events that they host, things like that. So I would encourage you guys, if you're seriously considering this property, if you're looking at this, give this website a read. I will have you know that contact information here, this is not for the HOA, this is for a neighboring entity. But as far as contact information, if you come here to officers, and this is the phone number we linked. There we go. We linked the phone number for the president of the organization. I don't know what the degree of difficulty is, let's say, in getting some of these people on the phone. But the point is, if you're looking at this, if you want to do some research, if there's something that we're not discussing on this page or within this video, you really should call these people, talk to them in advance, see if this is the right type of property for you. Now, let's get back to this for a second. So, point is, there's an HOA. In regards to annual dues, I've heard three different numbers. I've heard $45 annually, I've heard $50 annually, and I have heard $90 annually. So I'm just going to tell you guys to expect $90 annually to be the HOA fee. That being said, I have heard conflicting numbers on that. That number, however, is voluntary. Voluntary is the thing that is consistent amongst all those numbers that I was quoted. It's a voluntary dues, but my guess is if you're living in a region that's this nice and that's this well taken care of, you're probably going to want to contribute to that. So anyway, that's number one. Number two, I want to talk about the covenants and restrictions that govern this area. If you click on this link, it's going to take you to the CCRs, the covenants, conditions, and restrictions for number 3, filing number 3. If you recall earlier, I said this was Navajo Ranch Resorts, filing number 3. That's what the 3 refers to. So it's about 5 pages of documentation. You could pull this down off the HOA's website. I'm going to cliff notes this one for you guys. Right here on the table, we have answers to the most common questions that we get all the time that I know I'm going to get in various phone calls and emails about this property. So let me just run through these. You can read the 5 pages of covenants. You'll get a lot more detail than what I'm going to say here. But the major takeaways are: 1, RVs are not permitted for more than 30 days at a time. 2, mobile homes are acceptable as long as they've been skirted and had their axles removed or some kind of permanent foundation, we'll say. 3, minimum square footage for SFRs as well as mobile homes is 720 square feet, so that may rule out a lot of you who want to do tiny homes. Time limit to build is 12 months from groundbreaking, not purchase. Guys, this means you could buy the land, do nothing with it for 50 years, but the minute that your grandkids break ground on it and decide they want to build a house, that's the day when the countdown begins. That countdown is 12 months. They would like construction, quote, diligently prosecuted. Diligently prosecuted. That's what all HOA CCRs tend to, that's the phrase they tend to go to, diligently prosecuted. What happens on 12 months and 1 day? I don't know, probably not a whole lot. But point is, 12 months is the time limit to build. And point number 5, there is an architectural control committee which need to approve all structures being built within the community. Let's talk about this one. So up here in the CCRs, if you scroll down, you can read through all these very detailed things. A lot of these are common sense, good neighbor kind of covenants and restrictions. Some of them are just really overwritten, basically just overwritten versions of what I just kind of quickly went through. But if you come down here to point number 3, it talks about the Architectural Control Committee. Now, if you go to the HOA's main page and you talk about the mission statement that's up here, to promote the common good and general welfare of Navajo Ranch, act on improvement opportunities to maintain the common elements, protect and preserve the natural environment of the area, so on and so forth. That is the language that all HOAs tend to use. The Architectural Control Committee is kind of their way to do that. Now, we have encountered HOAs that have really strict architectural control. I'm just going to say ACC. We've encountered HOAs that have really strict ACCs where they're picking out the paint swatches at your house. Again, I would not try to sell you land in those regions because it's really, really hard and nobody likes that. This one, from the conversations that we had with them, they seem pretty reasonable. They seem pretty agreeable. And the ACC, to me, is just kind of a, let's just say, is there to keep the riffraff out, okay? If somebody wants to come build a property and they want to put 20 abandoned cars on the lot that haven't been operable since the 1970s, they're probably going to say no. Your building plans are not approved. If, however, you are a respectable individual who says, I want to build a house, I want to put down a mobile home. I don't have 82 dogs. They're going to be barking at 3 in the morning. They're probably going to stamp your documents approved, okay? But here's the thing, guys. If you don't believe me, reach out to the ACC, reach out to the organization that monitors this area. Talk to them about your plan. Say, hey, look, I want to do X, Y, and Z. Is that something that you guys are would typically approve? Is that something that you're going to have a problem with? My guess is as long as it meets whatever sort of Colorado building code standards there are, they're going to approve it, okay? But again, if you're going to spend $18,000 with us, this is something you may want to review in advance. So you've got the Architectural Review Board right here. If you click on this link, of course, it'll take you to that part of the website where they go into greater discussion of that. I'd also encourage you guys to read over the CCRs here. It's not a lot of stuff to absorb. It's not terribly detailed, but, it is somewhat informative. Anyway, let's go back to the website over here, guys. I do want to point out to you that, so we're talking about the water lines in this area. So because there's this HOA out there, they, in connection with an organization called the Navajo Western Water District, services this region with water lines. Now, when we say water lines, is there a pipe sticking out of the ground in any of the 40 photos in the gallery below here? No, there is not. That being said, if you click on this link, it will take you to their website where you can read more about what they do. Basically, I was trying to research the water table depth in this region. And if you come back here, if you go down to the gallery and you look at a photo like this, let me pull it up. Oh, good gravy. Where's it at? All right. If you look at a photo like this, you see very close to the property, there's a home site, and another one, and one right across the street, so on and so forth. And when I was trying to discover water table depth in the region, what I found was that there are no wells here. And then I looked about, a half a mile away down by the river. There's a small river running through here. I believe it's the Rio Cucharas. There's about 7 wells down there, and they're all controlled by the Navajo Western Water District. And that is a district that comes out and has pipes running through this region and will hook up water services to the property to the structure that you end up building on this property. That is what they do. Now, if you have questions about that, call their offices. They're going to know infinitely more about it than we do. That being said, the little bit that I did learn, which is most germane here, is if you buy the property, they're not sending you a bill on day one. Unless you are actually using their water services, unless you are actually tapping into the water lines, that's when you're going to receive a bill. So there's a hookup fee, and then, of course, there's a monthly fee like there is with every other utility in the country. But that is when you would actually start incurring some kind of fees. So to be clear, guys, you can buy this property and not elect to pay any of the HOA dues until you actually build on it, number one. And number two, you don't actually have to pay any of the water dues until you build on the property and hook up to those aforementioned water lines. By the way, guys, one of the other reasons I want to bring up this photo is because we're talking about the ACC, this Architectural Control Committee. If you look at the structures that are in this area, again, all mobile homes, this one's pink. Okay, so I don't even think these people are policing what paint swatches you're using. I think they're a pretty laid-back group. I see what looks to be a really nice house over here, maybe one over here as well. If you want to do something like that, no one's ever going to object to that. But the point is, if you do want to do a mobile home, a modular home out here, most likely you're going to be met with little difficulty, I would imagine, okay? Anyway, guys, with all that said, we've got some helpful links up here in the table. They're linked through the property-specific notes at the top of the page, like I was showing you earlier. But we've also got them linked down here, most notably the Navajo Ranch HOA, the Navajo Western Water District. They are linked here as well as their phone number. And San Isabel Electric, I neglected to mention, but the power lines that you see basically right at the property line of this property are the utility that services this region is San Isabel Electric. So if you do have any questions about hookup costs, about what it's going to take to get power extended from here to here, you can reach out to them, of course, and inquire about that in advance of the purchase. Always good to talk to the local utility in advance. This, by the way, is their website, and it is linked in multiple places on our listing page. Anyway, guys, if this is a property that interests you, I should have you know that we closed on this through Daughter Abstract out there in Huerfano County. So we do have title insurance on this, and we will be providing you with a warranty deed. The way this process works, guys, is you come up here, you click the Buy Now button. It's going to take you to a secure checkout where we have the non-refundable, people, let me say this again, the non-refundable $500 earnest money deposit. The way this process works is we're going to encourage you to close through a title company, encourage you to close probably through Daughter Abstract. You put down the $500. We're going to write up a contract. We're going to sign it. You're going to sign it. We're going to submit it to the title company, and they're going to do the rest. That's about a 30-day process, let's say. But the point is that nobody requests the remainder of your money until that process is complete, and nobody releases your money to us until such time as we have officially deeded the land into your name. Whatever the case, to get that process started, just come up here, enter all the information on this page, legal name for deed, tax address, so on and so forth. Agree to the terms of service, and on the very next page with a credit or debit card, you can place that $500 deposit. Now, in case I went through that too quickly, guys, and I often accused of this, if you come up here to how it works, buying from us, it'll take you to this page right here. This page enumerates the two ways in which we close on properties. One is called a notary close, and the other is through title and escrow. We are encouraging anybody in this price range, you should close through title and escrow. You should have that peace of mind. You should get title insurance. So again, this is the way that process works. And title company doesn't do anything until they have a contract from buyer and seller demonstrating intent. And we do not draft a contract until we have your $500 non-refundable earnest money deposit. If you'd like to see what the contract looks like that you're going to be asked to sign, just click this link right here, and it will bring up a generic version of one of our standard contracts. As you can see, this one's pretty easy to absorb. It's one page for signatures. Should be pretty self-explanatory, but of course, if you've got a lawyer friend, you'd like them to look it over, be our guest. Finally, guys, do want to mention that this $18,000, in case this needs to be reiterated, is a cash transaction. We are looking for someone who has the full $18,000. There is no financing available on this property. Sorry about that. So if you do put down the $500, please be prepared to pay the other $17,500 within, pretty soon after. Okay? Anyway, with all that said, guys, I really like this property. I get a lot of calls from people who want power, they want underground utilities, and they want water lines, but they don't want an HOA. That's unrealistic. That does not exist in America. But when you can find a property like this in a really good location that has an HOA, which seems fairly agreeable, fairly reasonable, as this one seems, that's about as good as you're going to find. So I would highly encourage you guys who are looking for properties like that, really dig into this one, see if it does meet your standards, call the HOA, talk to them, see if you can get along with them, see if you can, live comfortably in this area. It's a really beautiful piece of land, and if you can, I think you should scoop it up. Anyway, with all that said, guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video.